going on? I just watched X-Files episode 27. That's season 2, episode 3. Right off Jump Street, or as soon as it starts, you got a triangle symbol with the exclamation point. It's the logo of the company this guy works for. Then you got 13s and 33s show up like right away. There's 13s and 33s, a lot of them in this episode, but all right, there's a poster on the back wall that says "Don't do drugs." You know what I'm saying? Which is there was a lot of symbol placement in it but it was trying to do that on purpose. It's like showing you like they live, how all there's triggers and programs and all of the advertisements all around us. And in this particular episode, it was causing people to go postal and do random violence. And basically, they kept seeing all these commands on their devices. Like their devices would all of a sudden start to say, kill them all." And it was like there was these sublime trigger words and chaining and anchoring and all this weird stuff in it, and it's so relevant. I have had so many synchronicities to this episode I just watched, dude. It's all about MK Manchurianization, but through pharmaceutical chemical means, kind of like on Batman. I didn't get a chance to show it how they put chemicals in the water that made everyone go crazy, and they would see like delusions and it'd make them real paranoid. And this was going on in the show. So you got bath salt zombies. I mean, in a way, this is what they do. In a way, they rage out in a public place, and it doesn't make no sense why they would do it. They always blame it on drugs, but in this show, it was showing how there is called some LSDM, and they kept showing Manson in it, and they made a reference to Manson too. So it's kind of like maybe they're showing that maybe this is the responsible for these triggers as well. The gay bomb was mentioned in it, and it was Mulder's friends, the Lone Gunman magazine, and they were talking about. Listen, I was just in my room a few minutes ago, watching this fly bounce around on the ceiling, thinking, man, I don't like fucking. It was like a little fruit fly, and then all of a sudden, I swear I saw a little beam of light out of nowhere, but it could have just been my glasses catching a reflection. But what is weird is on this show, they were talking about a microfiber optic cable that was small enough to fit on a fly, on the back of a fly. And I was just talking about this to someone just recently, how they use things like this. Like my friend's old lady one day came home from work and showed me this thing, and it was a bug with a camera on it, and it said this has been deployed in Lower Michigan and in the greater Detroit area. And this is probably about 6 years ago. So you know what I'm saying? So and I've thought I've seen micro optic cables and fibers before. You know what I'm saying? And I have installed them as well for Verizon down in Florida under the table with some Mexicans. So you know what I'm saying? I not expert on it, but I know kind of about it. But the machines kept sending out sublims, and I swear, dude, on Facebook before, like I'd be scrolling through, and as you scroll and the thing's scrambled, a word will pop up, a sublim, like it'll say porn. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then you stop and look at it, and it'll say something else. And you know, and I kept swearing my machine was reading my mind, which is kind of machine irritant. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then they did a Facebook algorithm test on people's psychology where they would like people would remark on my profile and say, "You're stupid, you dumb stupid, you're an idiot." And I'd go around all day feeling kind of like ugh, like I just got really hammered by these random people that I don't even know, and they could just be fake bot meat puppet accounts. So in a way, they are doing exactly that, in a way, with the shillery and the J-trigging and all that, and the computer algorithms with the snitch network algorithm. But it was chaining and anchoring. There was the main character, the main guy, the postal guy, that every time he see blood, it was like he would feel the same anxiety and the urge to kill. And basically, what it was is that they were spraying some kind of a gay bomb, dude. Basically, a gay bomb for insects, that it makes insects scared of each other, so they run away and they don't mate and they die. You know what I'm saying? And dude, just in my life, I had someone kind of have a random freak out and just take off out of nowhere. Same person smash their phone because something switched on that they didn't switch on themselves. So I mean, this just happened to me yesterday, I think, or the day before, in real life. You know what I'm saying? And there's been times when it's like knowing about the conspiracy, all this shizzle, all these spy technology gadgets and all this stuff. It does make you take the battery out your phone. It does make you want to wrap your electronics in tinfoil, because it's a way to make you feel like you have some control over these machines that you know that are kind of in a way it's like a boa constrictor, coiling you, and it's just ain't start put the total squeeze on you yet, but it's coming anyway. They were having public freakouts, and dude, this happens to me sometime. It's because for a while, dude, I got gang stalked, and after that happens to you, now everything you you see random people and you think, man, that's crisis actors, that's street theater. Oh, those are operatives. But maybe they're not now. It's just regular people. Maybe they're all sketched out and suspicious and they're just acting strange. But now I perceive it as gang stalkers, so I have this residual fear of people now because of the gang stalkers when they followed me around when the Flint Town stabber was on the loose, which is one of these type of fucking scenarios, that a random stabber guy. You know what I'm saying? And I've also had just seeing people have anger about machines, like their car, their computer, their phones. A lot you see people getting angry at the phone or their video game. Uh, so and this is big time about Manchurianization of people, man. It was deep into that. It was really showing it, and it was showing about how they intentionally DDT'd people, that's tied into Monsanto and Dow Chemical, and it's kind of like they threw it out there, and that's going on now, Monsatan. And if you look into DDT, it hides in fatty tissue. And there was a reference to one of this guy's triggers was check your cholesterol. And I just seen on Alex Jones this doctor lady talking about how your brain, its health is related to how much fat and cholesterol you got in your brain, because that's basically what it's made out of. And cholesterol medicine basically eats your brain. That's how it gets rid of the cholesterol, is it eats your brain, because it's basically a big fatty tissue store. You know what I mean? Fatty tissue and chemicals and whatnot, and proteins or whatever. All right, what is an electrocardiographic device? You know what I'm saying? This dude said that, and I don't really know what that is yet, but it sounded legit. And it was showing how, and it really talked about how there was a behavioral modification in sprayer. There was a stealth helicopter that sprayed Mulder. And he was like, is this a behavioral modification that's really going on by a corporation? So basically they made a reference to gang stalking corporations doing operations. And then I'm telling you, I'm seeing this in real life, and I just took them spraying all these chemicals, okay? I just made the gay bomb video, and there it is in this damn show from like 1994. Which is just freaking me out right now, how much synchronicity is tied in with this. Kind of like, it's weird kind of how they say whatever you entertain in your mind, somehow you bring it into reality. In a way that is somewhat true. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird. Or maybe there's another one, they say everything is connected. It's just, if you can make the connections, you can really, everything in a way, somehow in a roundabout way, sometimes is really connected. And they made a reference to harnessing people's fear kind of as a social weapon. And it mentions the government chemical cover-ups. It said irradiated flies. I was just talking about how the Nazi paperclip scientist was how he weaponized Lyme disease at the Roanoke, I think it's Roanoke Island. It's Roanoke research facility, I think it's called, but I could be wrong on the name of the island, but it's over there in the East Coast. And there was a paperclip guy who specialized in that, and then Lyme disease showed up in America, so this is kind of tied into that as well, using insects as a weapon, because basically it's tied into them spraying. It was a orchard town, so it was a place where they used chemicals. And then if you look into Monsanto and all that, and it's basically Halliburton. It's a sub company of Halliburton, or somehow it's tied up into the same people. Uh, so that's military industrial complex. And it kept showing all these damn. It was crazy about the sublims, and it mentioned how they actually use sublims and actual stuff. And then it's like you look in like Disney movies, every movie's got sex in the clouds and penises and castles and people with hard-ons. It's all this stuff, and so they really do these sublims, and they even were using it. Like it shows all these, like USA Today. It would show like this guy was standing there, and it said insurance. It said kill the security guard, and then it showed the security guard standing there, and it had insurance over his head. And I was thinking, are they saying that they're collecting insurance for these operations too? Like you say, I want to get rid of my husband, so I submit them to a government corporation to test on them to commit a postal op where they just basically get freaked out because of chemical induced. And it kind of showed. All right, there's a movie called 13 Sins where this kid keeps getting these text messages, and it keeps daring him to do more stuff, and he wins more money, and eventually it entices him to run into he gets into a postal suicide by cop situation. And you see these basalt zombies. A woman just got tased. She said she was the devil and God, and she said she was hitting the ice, is what she said. So I mean, I'm not gonna say that ain't possible there, that it was the ice, but it might not be just the ice, because in this show right here, it shows how, like, it said that their brains adrenal gland was fried out and it was all worn out. So in a way, they had super paranoia and super strength from adrenal. They had extra adrenal, and that ties into the gay bomb. I said, what if they flipped the gay bomb? Instead of making you want to have sex with men want to have sex with each other, what if they blasted us with testosterone that would make someone go oh, and crazy and rage out about the littlest things? And then what if you did have operatives following you on the internet, constantly henpecking at you, and you know, and just constantly nudging you? And there is something called the government nudge program, and it did talk about how the Russians use some kind of electromagnetic way to control people, and you can look into the woodpecker signal that's on HARP Holes in Heaven, where they can use this ray beam to control people's behavior, basically. And also, it made a reference to kind of a scopolamine type of thing, because when you take scopolamine, basically it cuts off your critical thought, so you're totally open to suggestion. So if they knew you were on scopolamine, they have access to all your internet feed, and when you're scrolling through, they can manipulate it somehow, because the machine's so fast it can trick your eye. You know, where it just flashes so quick that you know you saw something, but like when you go to look, it's already gone. So I've seen that in real life, and I've seen a lot of these things that was mentioned in this movie in real life. So, and there's also Charles Manson, LSD, and his thought about Helter Skelter, which was an engineered government race war. Now, how would they pull this off? Well, when you add into the Batman shit in the water, the fluoride, then chemtrail sprays, and then when you start looking into gay bombs, and then that this is real. I mean, it's not even a secret. And it even showed the DDT sprayers looked a lot like the cloud manufacturing machines that I saw some footage of, that they could just straight up spray. It's like a big garbage or cement truck that just sprays out a bunch of dust and creates clouds. So imagine if those particles were mixed with these type of chemicals, gay bomb, pheromone, insect pheromone. And that's not beyond the realm. They've thought of that. Like I said, the Nazi paperclip scientist who was at the Roanoke Research Institute, man, or the Montauk Monsters. I think that's where they found it's that place too. I'm not sure if they're connected. I could be mixing that up there, but I mean that's all. You can look into that. But basically, there was trigger words all over. Even Mulder was getting hit up by the trigger words, and he was sprayed with the shit. So at the end, it showed him sitting on the ledge of a high place, like staring at his phone, Very weird, eerie, ominous. I'm straight up weirded out, but it's kind of cool at the same time.